Hi and welcome to GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. I'm doing my initial unboxing, although not an unboxing, as you can see it's already here. Review thoughts on another micro helicopter, the AS350, also known as the WLToys V931. Very similar to the Power Star X1 or 966, 977, whichever you want to call it, over there. The layout's very similar, but obviously this is going to be heavier because it's a scale body, got a 3-blade head. So there are some differences and there are some very obvious issues with this helicopter. Anyway, it comes in a nice box like that. Not as nice as my other box. It hasn't sort of... This is not going to be as easy to use as a carry case, but I can modify it to do so. You get the same transmitter, and if you'll see from my previous review, really like these transmitters. It's easy to mode change it. You can have mode 1 or mode 2 just by flicking a switch. You can also have mode 3 and mode 4. You flick the switch and then you go into the mode transition menu just by pressing and holding that. Very simple. You've got idle up on this side, and you've got a throttle hold on this side. There's a 3D and a 6G mode, which is... The 6G is like a stabilised mode in that the helicopter returns to level. It will still, if you're flying forward and let go of the 6, it will go level but still keep going forward and then gradually slow down. And I use that for indoors, really useful for indoor flying, just poodling around, can't get into too many problems. So overall the transmitter's okay. I had a similar problem with this transmitter and my last one in that it didn't turn on after I put the batteries in, and that's because where you put... I put any loops in this, and when you put rechargeable batteries in, they don't fit in particularly well, so they sort of grip and they don't actually go up against the connector. So you just have to shuffle the batteries around a bit, play around with them, and then it works fine. So that's that. You get a little manual, you get a spare set of main blades, a spare rear blade, a spare main gear. You get one of these little chargers, which I don't use, and you get two 500 milliamp 25C single cell batteries, which is nice. I use a charger like this, which charges multiple batteries. It's much more reliable, and it charges at 0.5 of an amp, so it's perfect for these size batteries. I don't like these USB ones. They're I don't rate them at all. I'm just not comfortable using them. So there's the helicopter, and mine came. It looked like almost like a... One side of it has been used because it's dirty, and I don't really know. I get the impression these are reconditioned ones. I mean, I paid less than £100 for it, so actually I paid less than £90 for it delivered. So I'm not too worried as long as it works. Now, which it did, it worked fine. But the problem I first realised after just a couple of minutes of flying was how hot this thing got inside, and I'm talking you can smell it hot. This gets warm, but nothing like this, and it's because it's all enclosed. And what they've done is they put the speed controller, the battery, and then the main controller all stacked on top of each other and right next to the motor, all things that get hot. There's no airflow in, so I had a look at it, and I've come up with several ideas on what to do. And the first thing I did was I cut these little doors, these little windows out with a Dremel, because I thought that'll allow some air to go in and it still looks okay. But it was still getting way too hot. There's plenty of airflow out because it can come out through the exhaust and through the top there. Most of it's going to, I would think, would blow out through the exhaust because there's going to be a bit of airflow going down into here most of the time. But then I thought, well, okay, that's not really solving the problem. So then I thought I'd put the battery on the outside, but it was a bit unwieldy on Velcro and you've got to take it on and off, so I didn't like that. But then I thought, well, I'll put the speed controller, the hottest thing, on the outside. And as you can see, I've just stuck that. I'll just show you there. I've just stuck it to the underside. Yes, it doesn't look as pretty, but I just saw that as going to be a major problem at some point, the way that was getting hot. I mean, if you'd run two batteries through this, one after the other, I think you'd get in trouble with it. But you know, why take the risk? So I reckon that solved the problem. I've got the battery still on the inside, and I can have the battery lead. I've made it so I can have that on the inside, or as I did have it there, I can just have it poking through the window, and it's nice and easy to connect up on the outside. Yes, you can see it when you're flying, but you know, these aren't true scale. They're, you know, they're toy helicopters at the end of the day. So I quite like that system. The canopy goes on nicely. It works absolutely fine. You don't even notice it when you're flying. And the fact that you've got the airflow going through there now, there's a bit of space for some air to go in here, go through, cool everything down and come out the exhaust. I think that's going to work really well. Now, I was in the middle of my flight testing, and as you may hear, it's absolutely peeing down again now. It's windy, now it's peeing down, so I've only done indoor testing at the moment and it seems fine. The other small issue is sometimes this doesn't start up very easily. It seems to be more when the battery's not fully charged, and also when it's a bit warm. So, but when the battery's fully charged, it starts up no problem. But sometimes this will just sort of sit there juddering, and it will need a bit of coaxing to get going. And I've seen that as problems on others. But you know, these are little niggly things that I'm happy to put up with, because ultimately, what have we got here? We've got a scale, 3-bladed, fully collective pitch, aerobatic helicopter for less than £90 with a transmitter. Now, I've always wanted a scale helicopter, and I've always wanted a 3-bladed helicopter, and this, you know, this ticks both boxes. So I'm well pleased with it. Just comparing it to the Powerstar X1, the X1 comes with 450 milliamp batteries. This one comes with a 500 milliamp, which seem okay. But I've also bought some. These are 520 milliamp batteries for the X1, and they're 30C as opposed to 25C. Now that to me is the battery that should have come with that, because it gives it a little bit more duration, a little bit more punch, and it's only probably, you know, 4 or 5 millimeters longer. That's you know, virtually indetectable weight difference. You can't tell when you're flying it. It just flies so much better, and for, you know, even if you only get another 30-40 seconds out of it, you just get a slightly longer flight time. As I say, a bit more punch, and it's just nicer to fly with the better battery. So I'm really liking this, and again, I will do some more flying video of the X1 when the weather subsides. So that's just my initial thoughts on the AS350 scale helicopter. I suppose this is the kind of heli that you would see on top of a mountain if you were skiing, picking someone up with a broken leg. Yeah, nice scale detail, little bits on the side here, little handles. These are nice. The tail section's all nice. The tail holds rock solid in the hover, no problems with it blowing out or anything. It's even got nice little windscreen wipers on the front here. Just really nice scale detail. Lovely little helicopter, again for not a lot of money. That's what we've got to remember when I'm reviewing these. I do appreciate what you're getting for the money, and I think my little modification with the speed controller underneath, you don't really notice it when you're flying, and I think that's going to solve the heat problems. Just a note on the head, this is like a direct control DFC head, I think they call it, so very few parts count, and it also has proper servos, the same as that, the little rotary servos as opposed to linear servos, and so they're easily replaceable. It's a very simple layout. It's just on a flat chassis with everything sort of stuck on it, little brushless motor in there. Everything looks good. One of the wires I noticed does touch one of the control rods, but because it's, you know, it's not going to bind or anything, so it's no problem whatsoever. Looking at the servos, they are identical to the ones in there, and so is the layout. So yeah, really pleased with it. No problems at all with that. And the actual control system seems to work brilliantly. You know, obviously that's all in here in this little brain. There's a little aerial there. All works I mean, I think it's astonishing what they do now with these helis compared to like what I used to fly in the past. It's I think it's amazing. So there you go. That's my initial thoughts and review on the PowerStar AS350 or WLToys. I'm sure it's called the 931, the V931 if you're looking to buy one. Definitely recommend it, but also I definitely recommend some kind of modification for cooling. Anyway, this is GRVOTV, G's Reviews, Views and Opinions. I'll see you soon. Bye.